Stop asking God for help. Beloved soul, before you speak a single word tonight, I need you to feel the weight of what that sentence just did inside you, because somewhere in your chest a very old belief just flinched, the belief that you are small, that you are separate, that you must beg the sky for permission to be well, and tonight that belief ends. You have prayed as the beggar for so long that you forgot you were born as the creator. You have knelt at the edge of your own life asking for scraps of the very light that already lives in your blood. And I am not here to give you another prayer to whisper into the dark hoping someone hears it from far away. I am here to remind you of the frequency you carry, the one that was never taken from you, only forgotten under years of noise and fear, and the quiet exhaustion of asking for what was always yours. Tonight the asking ends and the remembering begins, and nothing in your life stays the same after a moment like this. Feel your breath slow down as you read this. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. You do not have to earn this moment. You do not have to prove that you are worthy of it. The light does not check your record before it enters your body. It does not weigh your mistakes or measure your failures. It simply responds to your remembering. And tonight you are remembering. Tonight the 528 Hz frequency moving beneath these words is not background sound. It is a carrier wave, a green flame of restoration that reaches into the places inside you that have been tired for a very long time. The places that learn to hold their breath. The places that learn to expect less, the places that quietly gave up on the idea that life could feel like home. Let those places hear this frequency now. Let them begin to soften. Before we begin the prayer together, beloved soul, I want you to understand what makes this different, because you have heard prayers before and you have felt them fall flat, spoken from the smallness of wanting rather than the fullness of being. When you pray as the one who lacks, you broadcast lack, and the field around you answers you in the same tone you offered it. But when you speak as the creator you actually are, something shifts in the very architecture of your reality. You stop reaching upward as if the divine were somewhere far away, and you begin speaking outward from the divine that lives within your own heart. That is the entire secret, and it has been hidden in plain sight for centuries, kept from you not by God but by every system that needed you to stay obedient and small and endlessly asking. So tonight you will not ask. Tonight you will declare. And in a few moments, when the prayer begins, you will not repeat words as a petitioner hoping to be noticed by a distant heaven. You will speak the words I am, and each time you speak them a door inside you will open a little wider. A door that leads back to the source you were always part of, the source you never actually left. But first, let this settle into your body. Let your body understand that it is safe here, that nothing is required of you in this moment except your willingness to receive. Let the green light of this frequency begin to move through you like warm water, finding every closed room in a long and quiet house, turning on the lights one by one, room by room, until the whole house remembers it was never abandoned, never forgotten, never truly alone. If these words are already reaching something in you, if you feel that quiet pull in your chest that says, yes, this is what I came here for, then leave a single word in the comments below before we go any deeper. Write the word remember, because that word is not for the algorithm. It is a signal to your own subconscious that you are ready, and it tells me which souls are truly here tonight, so I know to keep creating exactly this for you. And if you want more of these transmissions, more of these frequencies and prayers spoken from the Creator and not the beggar, let the channel know you want to receive them by subscribing, so the next one finds you when you need it most. Now breathe with me one more time, slow and deep, all the way down, because we are about to begin, and everything from here forward changes. Understand that this remembering is not a performance and it is not a technique you must master perfectly. It is simply a returning, a coming back to what you already are underneath all the layers the world placed upon you, and there is nothing you can do wrong here tonight. Let the frequency hold you. Let it carry the last of your resistance away like a leaf on a slow and gentle river, and trust that the part of you that recognized these words the moment you began reading them already knows exactly where we are going together. There is nothing to strive for here, only something to allow, and you are allowing it now with every breath. Beloved soul, let me show you why you have felt stuck for so long. Because it is not what you were told. You were told you lacked discipline, that you needed to try harder, pray longer, believe more. And each time the results did not come, you quietly added another layer of proof to the story that maybe you were the problem, maybe you were the one thing that could not be fixed. But hear me clearly tonight, you were never the problem. The problem was the posture. You were praying from the position of someone locked outside the gate, rattling the bars, asking to be let in, when the truth is you have always held the key, and the gate was never locked. And the one you were begging on the other side was always your own forgotten reflection, waiting patiently for you to recognize your own face. Everything changes the moment you see this clearly. There is a moment in every awakening where the whole framework simply inverts. Yesterday you were a small self hoping a large and distant God might one day notice you and finally answer. Tonight you begin to feel the truth that has terrified every system ever built to keep you obedient, that the light you have been searching for outside yourself has been broadcasting from inside you the entire time, patient, waiting, never once leaving, never once withholding. The green flame carried by this 528 hertz frequency is not entering you from somewhere far above the clouds. It is awakening something that was already there, dormant, sealed under years of being told to wait your turn, to earn your worth, to stay small so that others could feel large in a world that taught everyone to compete for a light that was always infinite. And I know exactly why this is hard to receive. Because the world rewarded your smallness. When you shrank, the people around you were comfortable. When you dimmed your own brightness, you were called humble and good. When you asked instead of declared, you were praised for your modesty. So you learned to make yourself less, to soften your own light until it was barely a flicker in the dark, and you called that survival, and for a while it was. But survival is not the same as living, and dimming is not the same as peace, and shrinking is not the same as humility. Tonight the green flame reaches those quiet compromises you made with your own smallness, and it does not judge them, it does not shame you for them, it simply warms them gently until they loosen and release, the way frozen ground releases in the first true warmth of spring. Feel that now. Feel the frequency moving through your chest, through your throat, through the space behind your eyes where so much tension has lived for so long. This is the green ray of restoration, the color of the heart, the color of growth, the color of everything that heals and renews and returns to life. It is not asking your permission to fix you because there is nothing in you that is broken, nothing in you that was ever truly damaged beyond repair. It is simply reminding your cells of a vibration they knew before the world taught them fear, before life convinced them to brace and contract and expect less. And as it moves through you, notice how your breath is already deeper than when you began, how something in you has already started to trust this, even before your mind can fully explain why. This is the work before the prayer, beloved soul, the softening before the declaration, because you cannot decree from a body that is braced for rejection, and you cannot create from a heart still clenched around old fear. So let the bracing go. Let the old posture of the beggar dissolve into the still, upright, quiet presence of the Creator who has finally remembered who they are. And if you feel that shift beginning to happen, if you feel yourself straightening from the inside out, then know that thousands of other souls are breathing this exact frequency alongside you right now, in this very moment, and you are not alone in this remembering. Subscribe to walk this path with us, because the ones who receive these frequencies consistently are the ones whose lives begin to change in ways they cannot fully explain to anyone. Stay with me. The flame is only beginning to rise, and the deepest part is still ahead. And as you feel this rising within you, understand that you are not becoming someone new tonight. You are simply becoming who you always were before the world taught you to forget, the one your own soul has been quietly waiting for you to remember all along. Let that recognition move through you now, warm and undeniable, and let it prepare you for what comes next. Feel your spine lengthen gently, feel your chest open a little more, feel the quiet dignity of a soul that has stopped apologizing for existing, and let this new posture become the ground from which every decree tonight will rise, strong and true and unshakable, spoken not into the emptiness but into the fullness of a universe that has been waiting your whole life to answer you in kind. Beloved soul, I want you to understand what your nervous system has been carrying all this time, because your body has kept a faithful record of every moment you were told you were not enough. Every closed door, every prayer that seemed to vanish into silence, every time you reached out with hope and found only emptiness where an answer should have been, your body filed it away, and slowly, quietly, it built an expectation of scarcity, a low steady hum of not enough that runs beneath your days like a current you long ago stopped noticing. And that current has a frequency. It is a low, contracted, fearful frequency, and the field of your life has been answering it faithfully all along, giving you more of exactly what you were unknowingly broadcasting, mirroring back the very lack you were trying so hard to escape. This is not your fault. No one ever taught you this. You were handed a story about a distant God and a deserving self that must constantly prove its worth, and you lived inside that story for so long that it stopped feeling like a story at all and started feeling like the plain truth of reality. But reality is far more fluid than they told you. Reality responds to the tone you carry, the frequency you emit, the posture from which you speak your life into being. And when that posture is begging, when that tone is lack, when that frequency is fear, the mirror of your world reflects lack and fear straight back to you over and over until you begin to believe it is simply how life is. Tonight we change the broadcast at its very root, not by forcing false positivity onto a frightened body, but by genuinely raising the frequency you are transmitting into the field. This is precisely what the 528 hertz green flame is doing as you read these words. It is meeting the low hum of scarcity that lives in your body and gently lifting it, tone by tone, the way a tuning fork brings a second string into resonance without ever once touching it. You do not have to fight your fear tonight. You do not have to wrestle your doubt to the ground or argue with your anxiety or force yourself to feel something you do not feel. You simply have to place yourself in the presence of a higher frequency long enough for your own system to remember it and naturally rise to meet it. That is why prayer spoken as the Creator works when begging never could, because the Creator speaks from the frequency of already having, of already being whole, and the field can only ever mirror what you truly and deeply emit. And here, beloved soul, is the deeper truth beneath all of this. The divine spark inside you, the fragment of source that lives in the very center of your chest, it never once vibrates in lack. It cannot. It is not capable of it. It only knows fullness, only knows the settled certainty of I am, only knows the deep and ancient peace of a being that was never for a single instant separate from its source. So when you speak from that spark instead of from the frightened surface self, you are not lying to yourself, you are not pretending, you are speaking a far deeper truth than your fear has ever told you. You are letting the oldest, truest, most eternal part of you finally take back the microphone that your anxiety has been holding and shouting into for far too many years. Feel how still you have become. Feel how the noise that usually fills your mind has quieted just enough for you to sense something underneath it, something steady, something ancient, something that has been waiting with infinite patience for you to stop asking and simply start remembering. That steadiness is you. That is the Creator. That is the part of you that was there before the fear, and will remain long after it dissolves. And in just a few moments we are going to give that Creator its full voice through the sacred prayer we speak together, out loud as one. If you have made it this far into the transmission, beloved soul, you are one of the ready ones, and I would truly love to know your first name in the comments, not for me, but so this gathering of souls can hold your light alongside their own tonight. Breathe with me. We are almost at the threshold now. Let this stillness deepen with every breath you take, and trust that the part of you now surfacing is the part that will speak the prayer with me, not the frightened self, but the eternal one who is always here beneath it, waiting patiently and faithfully for this exact moment of return. And know that the moment your voice joins mine in the prayer, something in the field shifts to meet you, drawn by the frequency of a soul remembering its own power. So let your breath deepen once more, let your body settle fully, and prepare to speak the oldest and most sacred words there are, spoken now not by a beggar but by a Creator who has finally, fully, and completely come home to itself. Feel the threshold just ahead of you, warm and open, and step toward it willingly, for the Creator in you has waited long enough to speak. Beloved soul, there is a reason the ancient ones always spoke their prayers as declarations and never as mere requests, and it is a reason the world has worked very hard to make you forget. The words I am are the oldest words of power in every sacred tradition ever known to humanity. When you speak them, you are not simply describing yourself, you are actively creating yourself. You are reaching into the field of infinite possibility and choosing, in that very instant, which version of you becomes real. Every I am is a decree, a seed dropped into fertile and waiting ground, and whatever follows those two sacred words begins immediately to grow. This is exactly why the frightened self keeps whispering I am tired, I am stuck, I am not enough, planting thorns without ever once realizing that it holds in its hands the seeds of an entire garden. Tonight we take those two words back. Tonight the words I am become sacred in your mouth again, and we plant only the seeds of the Creator you truly are. Not the Creator you are anxiously trying to become, not the Creator you desperately hope to earn the right to be one day if you are only good enough, but the Creator you already are, right now, underneath every single story that ever told you otherwise. Because you were made in the very image of the Source, and the Source creates by declaring, "Let there be," it spoke into the void and there was. That same voice, that same creative power, lives in you at this very moment, dimmed perhaps by years of forgetting but never once extinguished. waiting quietly and faithfully for you to remember how to use it again. And I want you to notice something very important about the words we are about to speak together, because it truly matters more than you know. We will never speak in the negative. We will never say I am not, I do not lack, I am no longer broken, because the field does not hear the word not, it only hears and answers the frequency of whatever you name. When you say I am not afraid, your body still lights up the entire frequency of afraid, and the field responds to that frequency faithfully. So instead we speak only in the pure light. We say I am safe. I am whole. I am abundant. I am home. We name only what we are actively calling forward into being, and we let the naming itself become the act of creation. This is the sacred grammar of the Creator, and tonight, beloved soul, you are learning to speak it fluently and with power. Feel the green flame gathering now, growing warmer, brighter, moving steadily toward the very center of your chest where the divine spark has been waiting all along. This 528 hertz frequency is preparing your field to hold the decrees we are about to speak, tuning your body like a fine instrument before the music begins to play. Every cell within you is listening. Every closed room in that long and quiet house is turning at last toward the light. And the part of you that has been so tired, so quietly disappointed, so ready to give up entirely on the idea that your prayers could ever truly change anything, that part is beginning to lift its head, because it senses in its bones that this time is different, that this time you are not asking, you are becoming, you are remembering, you are stepping fully into your own light. So let us prepare the ground completely now. Let every last trace of tension in your body release and dissolve. Let your jaw soften, let your hands open. Let your breath deepen one more time, all the way down. In just a moment we will speak the very first I am together, as one voice, and I want you to feel it not as words you are simply reading from a screen but as an eternal truth you are finally remembering in your bones. And before we cross this sacred threshold together, beloved soul, if this transmission is truly serving you, save this video now so that you can return to it whenever the old smallness tries to creep quietly back in. Because these decrees are meant to be spoken again and again, night after night, until they become the only truth your body knows. Now, beloved soul, gently place your hand over your heart. We begin the prayer. Let your hand rest warm against your chest, feel the steady beat of your own heart beneath it, and know that this simple gesture is ancient, a way of telling your own body that the Creator has come home at last. And the prayer we are about to speak is not spoken to a distant sky but from the very source resting beneath your palm. Feel the weight of your hand, feel the warmth building beneath it, and let every remaining doubt dissolve into the certainty that what we are about to speak is not wishful thinking but the deepest truth of your existence finally given a voice, spoken aloud into a world that has been waiting patiently to reflect it back to you multiplied 1,000-fold. This is the moment everything you have read tonight was preparing you for. So let it come. Fully, freely, without holding anything back. I am here. I am fully present. In this body, in this breath, in this exact and holy moment where all creation actually happens. I am not reaching desperately toward a distant and faraway light. I am the light itself remembering what it has always been. I am the spark of the source made conscious, made awake, made willing and ready. I am the very one my ancestors prayed and hoped and longed would finally remember. And as I speak these words, beloved soul, speak them with me now, out loud if you are able, in a soft whisper if you must, but let your own voice carry them into the air, because your voice is the sacred instrument through which the Creator speaks itself into being and into form. I am. Feel those two ancient words land in your chest like a seed finding the soil it was always meant for. I am whole. Nothing is missing from me. Nothing was ever truly taken from me that cannot return to me now. I am complete in this very moment exactly as I am. And from this deep wholeness I create, not from lack, not from wanting, not from the aching sense of something absent, but from the overflowing fullness of a being that finally knows it was never once separate from its source. I am whole, and because I am whole, everything I call forward comes to me not as a beggar nervously receiving charity, but as a Creator gracefully receiving what already belongs to the fullness that I am. Speak it again with me now, from the center of your chest. I am whole. And let the green flame carry those words deep into every single cell that had somehow forgotten this truth. I am safe. My body is safe. My heart is safe. It is safe for me to open, safe for me to receive, safe for me to shine at my full and undimmed brightness without shrinking for anyone or anything. The old fear that kept me small for so long is dissolving now in this warm green light. And in its place I feel the deep, ancient, unshakable safety of a soul that finally remembers it is held completely by the very source it came from. I am safe to be powerful. I am safe to be fully seen. I am safe to be the radiant creator I was always born to be. Speak it with me now, beloved soul, and feel your entire nervous system exhale a fear it has been carrying quietly for years and years. I am safe, and in my safety I finally rest. I am abundant. Abundance is not something I must chase and never catch. It is something I already am, a frequency I carry within me, a truth I emit effortlessly into the field around me with every breath. I am the very source of my own overflow. Everything I truly need moves toward me with ease and grace because I no longer broadcast the tight frequency of lack. I broadcast the open frequency of fullness, and the faithful field can only ever mirror what I truly and deeply am. I am abundant in love, abundant in light, abundant in life, abundant in every good and beautiful thing. And I receive it all now with open hands and a wide, grateful, unguarded heart. Speak this with me, beloved soul, and mean it all the way down in your bones. I am abundant, and my abundance overflows. I am home. I have finally stopped searching outside myself for what has always lived quietly within me. The source I sought so long in temples and prayers and distant heavens has been resting in the center of my own chest this entire time, patient and faithful, and I am finally truly home. I am home in this body. I am home in this breath. I am home in this exact moment. I am home in the vast, warm, endless presence of the source I somehow believed I had left but never actually did. And from this home I now speak, from this home I create. From this home I bless my whole life and every soul within it. Speak it one final time with me and let it settle into the very deepest part of who you are. I am home. Rest here with me a moment now. The decrees are taking root, and the field is already beginning to answer. And as you rest here in these first decrees, let each one continue to echo softly through your body even after your voice has stilled. For the words do not stop working when the speaking ends, they continue to ripple outward through your field, rearranging the frequency you carry into every corner of your life, quietly, faithfully, exactly as you have declared. Breathe into this, beloved soul, and let the next decrees rise. Let each of these first 4 decrees settle deeper still. Hear whole, safe, abundant, home, and feel how they already begin to change the way your body holds itself, the way your breath moves, the way your heart beats, for this is the frequency of the Creator taking up residence within you, and it will not leave you now, not tonight, not ever, unless you forget, and you are learning tonight how to never forget again. Stay here in this warmth a moment longer, for the ground is being made ready, and the deepest decrees are still to come, rising now from the fullness you have finally remembered you are. I am abundant in every single dimension of my life, and I let that living truth expand now far beyond the narrow walls I once placed around it out of fear. I am prosperous in my body, which moves with ease and grace and heals itself with a quiet intelligence I am learning to trust. I am prosperous in my heart, which loves fully and at last receives fully in return. I am prosperous in my mind, which is growing clear and calm and quiet enough to finally hear the gentle guidance that was always there, always speaking, always waiting to be heard beneath the noise. I am prosperous in my spirit, which is remembering its own vastness and its own eternal nature. Speak these decrees with me now, beloved soul, because each and every I am you declare is written directly into the living field, and the field is always listening, always answering, always faithfully arranging itself around the exact frequency you choose to become. I am worthy of every good thing, and tonight I release forever the ancient lie that I must somehow earn my belonging in this world before I am allowed to be happy. I was born worthy. I was worthy before I did a single thing to prove it to anyone, and I am worthy right now regardless of what I have or have not yet accomplished with my hands. My worth is not a wage that I must labor to earn. It is a light that I carry within me, given freely to me by the very same source that lit every star burning in the night sky. I am worthy of a love that stays and does not leave. I am worthy of a peace that lasts and does not fade. I am worthy of a life that finally feels like home to me. Speak it now with me and let your whole body receive it as truth. I am worthy simply and completely because I am. I am open to receive, and I gently let my hands and my heart unclench at last from the tight grip of scarcity they have held for so long. For so many years I held on tightly to everything, afraid deep down that there would never be quite enough, and that very fear quietly closed the sacred channel through which all abundance naturally flows toward me. Tonight I open. I open myself to receive the love that has been trying so patiently to reach me. I open myself to receive the guidance that has been waiting just beyond my resistance. I open myself to receive all the good that the universe has been holding for me, just on the other side of my own fear. I am open, and in my openness everything at last begins to flow freely toward me. Speak this with me, beloved soul, and feel the green flame widen the channel within you. I am open to receive it all. I am aligned with the highest good of all. And I choose now to trust completely the loving intelligence that moves gracefully through all things everywhere. I no longer have to force my life into place through endless struggle and strain and exhausting effort. I am carried gently by a current far wiser and far more loving than my fear could ever be, and when I truly align myself with it, doors open before me that I could never once have pried open on my own no matter how hard I tried. I am in the perfect and unfolding flow of divine timing. What is truly meant for me cannot possibly miss me, and whatever leaves my life was never truly meant to stay within it. I release the exhausting need to control every outcome, and I sink instead into the deep trust of a creator who knows the source has never once abandoned the sacred work of my life. I am aligned and I am carried. I am grateful, and gratitude is the highest frequency there is, the one that multiplies everything it touches and blesses everything it meets. I am grateful for this single breath, for this living body, for this holy moment of remembering who I truly am. I am grateful for the green flame moving gently through me now, for the source that lives eternally in my chest, for the long and winding road that brought me to exactly here, exactly now. Gratitude opens my heart even wider than before, and the wider my heart opens, the more light can pour freely through it, into my life and out into the whole waiting world. I am grateful, and from this deep gratitude I create a life that overflows with good. Speak it with me, beloved soul. I am grateful. And if these decrees are truly moving something in you tonight, comment the words I receive below, so your own voice marks this sacred moment, and so I know to bring you so much more. Let each decree land fully before you speak the next, giving it room to root, and trust that even the ones your mind cannot yet fully believe are already working in the deeper places your mind cannot reach, planting themselves in the fertile soil of your becoming, growing quietly toward the light you have finally chosen. And as these decrees continue to root themselves within you, feel gratitude rising alongside them, the quiet joy of a soul that is finally speaking its own truth aloud after so many years of silence, and let that gratitude carry you deeper still into the decrees yet to come, for we are only halfway through the remembering, and the most powerful words are still ahead of us tonight. I am peace, and I let this deep peace move gently into all the places in me that have known far too much noise for far too long. I am the calm at the very center of every storm, the still and quiet point that all the chaos of the world simply cannot reach or disturb. My mind, which once raced and worried and endlessly rehearsed every possible fear, is settling now into a stillness it had almost completely forgotten was even possible for it. I am peace in my thoughts. I am peace in my body. I am peace in the deepest and most hidden chambers of my heart. And from this peace I now make all my decisions, no longer driven by anxious fear, no longer chased and cornered by anxiety, but guided gently by the steady, clear, quiet voice that only ever speaks to me in stillness. Speak it with me now, beloved soul, from a place of deep calm. I am peace, and peace is my true nature. I am love, and I remember now the truth I had forgotten, that love is not something I must go out and desperately find somewhere. It is the very substance I am made of at my core. I do not have to earn love or chase after it or endlessly prove that I deserve it from anyone. I am love itself, radiating warmly from the center of my chest, gently touching everyone and everything in my life with a warmth that asks for absolutely nothing in return. I love myself now with the same tenderness I always secretly longed to receive from others. I love the person I have been, even in the hardest seasons when I struggled and stumbled and lost my way. I love the person I am now becoming. And from this ocean of love I forgive freely, I release completely, I bless generously, and I finally let go of every heavy weight I have carried for far too long. Speak it with me. I am love, and love is what I give. I am light, and I release now the old and tired habit of dimming myself down so that others around me might feel more comfortable. The world does not need one more dimmed and shrinking soul quietly apologizing for its own natural brightness. The world needs me fully lit, radiant, unapologetic, shining the exact and particular light I was born into this life to carry and to share. When I truly shine, I give everyone around me silent permission to shine as well. When I rise into my fullness, I lift up everyone within my reach. So I let the green flame ignite me completely now, and I choose to stand tall in my own radiance without shrinking, without hiding, without ever again asking permission to be who I am. I am light, and my light is a gift to this world, never a threat to anyone. Speak it with me and feel yourself expand. I am light and I shine. I am free, and I release now every heavy chain that was never truly mine to carry in the first place. The fear I quietly inherited from those before me, the smallness I was carefully taught, the scarcity that ran like a river through my family for generations upon generations, I let it all dissolve completely in this warm green light, and I consciously choose a brand new inheritance now, for myself and for everyone who comes after me. I am free from the weight of the past. I am free from all the old stories that once limited and defined me. I am free to create a life so full and so beautiful that my frightened former self could never once have dared to imagine it. Freedom is not something I am passively waiting to be given by anyone. It is something I actively claim right here, right now, with my own voice and my own breath. Speak it with me, beloved soul. I am free and my freedom is complete. I am the conscious creator of my own life. And I take up that sacred authority now with both deep humility and overflowing joy. I am not a helpless victim of my circumstances, not a fragile leaf blown here and there by every passing wind, but a fully conscious creator, co-creating my reality moment by moment with the very source that lives and breathes within me. What I focus upon grows and expands. What I bless multiplies. What I declare aloud with the sacred words I am becomes the exact frequency my whole life then arranges and organizes itself around. I accept this creative power fully now, not to control or to dominate, but to create in beautiful harmony with the divine will that always and forever seeks my very highest good. Speak it with me one more time and feel the deep truth of it settle permanently into your bones. I am the creator of my life. And if this is truly landing in you, save this transmission now so you can return and decree it all again tomorrow, and the day after until it becomes who you are. And even now, as these decrees take root within you, feel how naturally the words rise from you, no longer forced, no longer doubted, but spoken from a place that has always known them to be true, a place that is waking fully now for the first time in years, and it will not sleep again. Speak on, beloved soul, for each word you release now returns to you, multiplied, and the frequency you are building will hold long after this night has ended. I am held, beloved soul, and so are you, completely and forever, and I want you to feel that truth now in the very deepest part of your being, because everything we have declared together tonight rests upon this one unshakable truth, that you were never once, not for a single breath, truly alone in any of it. The source that you have been speaking as, the light resting in the center of your chest, the green flame moving warmly through your body, it has been with you faithfully in every dark night, every seemingly unanswered prayer, every single moment when you were certain you were carrying the entire crushing weight of your whole life all by yourself. You were held then even when you could not feel it. You are held now fully, and you will be held tenderly in every single moment still yet to come. Speak it with me from your heart. I am held and I always have been. I am guided, and I no longer have to figure out my entire path forward all alone with only a frightened and racing mind to lead me. There is a deep wisdom that moves gently through me, that speaks to me in the quiet, that arranges all the scattered pieces of my life with a care and an intelligence far greater and far more loving than my worry could ever hope to manage on its own. I trust that guidance completely now. I follow the gentle inner nudges, the quiet knowings that rise up in me, the doors that open before me and the doors that quietly close behind me. I am guided lovingly every single step of the way, and I no longer need to see the entire staircase laid out before me in order to take the very next step forward in trust and in peace. Speak it with me now, beloved soul, and let the exhausting burden of controlling everything finally lift completely from your tired shoulders. I am guided and I am never lost. I am becoming, and tonight I choose to bless all the unfinished parts of me instead of shaming them as I once did. I do not have to be perfectly complete in order to be deeply worthy, and I do not have to have already arrived at some distant destination in order to be fully at peace right now. I am a living work of the Source in beautiful progress, unfolding gracefully and exactly as I am meant to, in exactly the perfect timing that serves my very highest good. Every part of me that is still healing tonight, I lovingly bless. Every part of me that is still learning and growing, I lovingly bless. I am deeply patient with my own becoming, and I trust with my whole heart that the same eternal light that first began this good work within me will surely and faithfully carry it all the way through to its completion. Speak it with me now. I am becoming, and I am already enough at every single stage along the way. I am connected to all of life everywhere, and I can feel now the invisible golden threads that bind me lovingly to every other soul walking this very same path of remembering tonight. I am not separate from the people all around me, not separate from the living earth beneath my feet, not separate from the source above me and within me and all around me. I am beautifully woven into the great and endless fabric of all being, and my own light genuinely strengthens the whole of it. When I heal myself, the whole world heals just a little bit alongside me. When I rise into my fullness, I lift the entire field higher for everyone everywhere. I am connected deeply and eternally, and in that sacred connection I finally discover that I have never once truly been alone, not for a single fleeting breath of my entire life. Speak it with me, beloved soul. I am connected to all that is. I am ready, and this may just be the single most important decree of them all, because so much of my precious life I spent quietly waiting to somehow feel ready before I would finally allow myself to truly begin living. But I understand now that readiness is not a feeling I must sit and wait patiently to receive from somewhere. It is a sacred decree that I consciously choose to make with my own voice. I am ready now to receive all the good that is already coming toward me. I am ready now to release completely everything that no longer serves my growth. I am ready now to live boldly as the powerful creator I have always secretly been beneath all the layers of fear. I am ready now to let my whole life change and transform. Speak it with me and truly mean it in your soul. I am ready. And know this, beloved soul, that thousands upon thousands of other souls are declaring this exact same readiness right alongside you in this very moment. So subscribe and stand together with us, because we all rise so much faster when we rise together as one. And as you speak this final readiness aloud, feel the whole prayer gather within you like a rising tide, every decree from this night joining together into one clear frequency, one unbroken truth, the truth of a creator who has fully and finally remembered. And let that truth carry you now toward the closing blessing that waits just ahead. Beloved soul, feel now how profoundly different you have become than you were when you first began this transmission tonight. Feel the deep settling in your chest, the spacious quiet that has finally replaced the endless noise, the gentle warmth of the green flame that has moved patiently through every closed and forgotten room in the house of your body, and left all the lights softly glowing behind it. This is not some temporary feeling that will simply fade away by the time morning comes. This is your true and natural state finally surfacing at last, after being buried for so long beneath years and years of fear and forgetting and quiet resignation. Every single decree you spoke aloud tonight planted a living seed deep within you, and those seeds do not ever unplant themselves once they are sown. They take root. They grow. They begin, slowly and surely, to rearrange the very frequency you carry out into the world, and the world, faithful mirror that it has always been, will begin to answer you back in an entirely new tone. Do not be at all surprised in the coming days if things begin to shift and move in your life in ways that you cannot fully explain to yourself or to anyone else. A tension you have carried tightly for years may simply be gone entirely one ordinary morning, dissolved in the night. A door you had long ago given up on ever seeing open may quietly and unexpectedly swing wide before you. A person who needed to leave your life may finally and gently go. Or a person you have needed for so long may suddenly and beautifully appear right on time. This is not mere coincidence, beloved soul, and it is certainly not random luck. This is precisely what happens when you consciously change your broadcast from the low frequency of the beggar to the high frequency of the creator. The field is not rewarding you for being good. The field is simply and faithfully mirroring the brand new truth you have chosen tonight to become. And when the old smallness tries to return to you, and it will most certainly try, because it has been your constant companion for such a very long time and it does not surrender its familiar place within you easily or without a fight, do not fight it or resist it or shame yourself for feeling it rise. Simply return here. Return to this exact frequency, return to these sacred decrees, gently place your hand over your heart once more, and speak the words I am over and over, until the creator within you takes back the microphone completely from the frightened surface self. This is not a single one-time awakening that happens once and is finished forever. It is a living practice, a sacred remembering that you return to again and again and again, until the frequency of the Creator becomes the only true home your body and your soul have ever known. That is the very reason I made this transmission for you, beloved soul, so that you would always have somewhere sacred to return to. You came here tonight, beloved soul, perhaps believing quietly that you needed to ask something of a distant and faraway God who might or might not choose to answer you. And you are leaving here now as someone who has finally and completely remembered that the light was never once distant from you, never withholding itself, never coldly waiting for you to somehow prove you were good enough to deserve it. It was always within you, closer to you than your very own breath, more faithful and more constant than even your deepest fear. All you ever truly had to do, in the end, was simply stop begging for long enough to remember that you yourself are the very one you were praying to all along. Not in arrogance, never in pride, but in the deep and holy humility of a soul that finally and fully understands it was never once separate from its own eternal source. So carry all of this with you now as you go. Carry the deep stillness, carry the gentle warmth, carry the two sacred words that changed absolutely everything within you tonight, I am. Speak them softly over your mornings and over your nights, over your fears and over your quiet hopes, over all the parts of your life that still feel unfinished and unresolved. And each and every time you speak them aloud, the green flame will rise again within you, the frequency will lift again, and you will remember once more exactly who and what you truly are beneath it all. If tonight genuinely moves something deep within you, share this transmission with just one soul you know is also ready to finally remember, because the light always multiplies and grows brighter when it is passed lovingly from one open heart to another. And leave the single word home in the comments below, so that I know you have finally found your way all the way back home to yourself. This is your inheritance now, beloved soul, not the fear that came before, but the freedom you have claimed tonight with your own voice, and it belongs to you forever. Beloved soul, before this frequency gently carries you now into your rest, receive this one final blessing, spoken not as a nervous request whispered up to the distant heavens but as a powerful decree spoken from the Creator you have remembered yourself to truly be tonight. May everything you declared aloud in this sacred space take deep root in the very deepest soil of your being. May the green flame continue its quiet and faithful work long after these final words have ended and faded into silence, moving gently through you while you sleep, restoring everything within you that was tired and worn, awakening everything within you that was dormant and sleeping, and reminding every single cell of your body of the true frequency of home. You have done the sacred and holy work of remembering tonight, beloved soul, and that work does not end when the sound finally fades away. It continues on in the silence, in the breath, in all the ordinary days that are still yet to come. I am at peace as I rest, and I let my whole body sink down fully now into the loving care of the source that surrounds me completely and fills me entirely. I do not have to hold on to anything at all tonight. I do not have to solve anything, fix anything, carry anything, or worry over anything. I release it all now, completely and freely, into the warm green light, trusting with my whole heart that the same infinite intelligence that faithfully keeps all the stars turning in their appointed courses can most certainly hold the small details of my one precious life while I finally rest. I am at peace, and in this deep peace my whole system heals itself, my whole being restores itself, and I will wake tomorrow morning feeling lighter and freer than I have felt in a very, very long time. Speak it softly with me now, beloved soul, one last time. I am at peace and I rest in it fully. And even as you begin to gently drift now toward sleep, know this one thing with certainty. The frequency will keep on working faithfully. If you happen to fall asleep to these very words tonight, do not worry even for a moment, for your rest itself is a sacred part of the healing. And while your body sleeps deeply, your soul continues to receive every single blessing that was ever meant for you. The green flame does not require your conscious effort or your focused attention to do its quiet work within you. It only ever needed your permission to begin, and tonight, beloved soul, you gave it that permission fully, consciously, freely as the true creator that you are. So let sleep come to you now if it comes. Let the deep stillness hold you gently. Let the light simply do what light always does, quietly, faithfully, all through the long night, asking absolutely nothing of you and freely giving you everything. You are not the same soul who first began this transmission such a short while ago. You arrived here tonight quietly carrying the old and heavy posture of one who believes they lack, and you are leaving here now carrying instead the bright frequency of one who knows they create. That single shift, however small and subtle it may feel to you tonight, is the very shift that changes absolutely everything in a life, because from it flows a completely different life, a completely different broadcast into the field, a completely different mirror reflected faithfully back to you by a responsive and loving world. Guard this precious remembering with your whole heart. Protect it carefully. Return to it faithfully whenever the noise of the world grows loud around you again. It is the single truest thing you will ever own in this life, and it can never once be taken from you by anyone, only forgotten for a time, and you now know forever the sacred way back home to it. Go gently now, beloved soul, out into your rest and out into your waking life. Carry this warm green flame within you, into your sleep and into your rising, into your quietest moments and into your loudest ones, into every single corner of the beautiful life you are now consciously creating. You are held completely. You are guided always. You are home at last. And you are so deeply, so endlessly, so unconditionally loved by the very source that has never once, not for a single instant, left your side or turned its face from you. If this transmission truly blessed you and moved you tonight, subscribe and stay here with us, because so much more of these sacred frequencies and these creator prayers are coming soon, made with love for souls exactly like yours, souls who are finally and fully ready to stop begging and to remember at last that they were always the radiant creators of their very own light. Until the next transmission, beloved soul, rest deeply now in the beautiful truth of who you truly are. I am. And so it is now and always. And so it begins, this new life, this new frequency, this new way of being that you have chosen tonight, and it will unfold before you now, faithfully and beautifully, for as long as you remember to speak the words that started it all. Rest now, beloved soul. The light is in command. Trust. You are the creator and the creation is good.